Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closers.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Ammar, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we are absolutely thrilled to be joined by JB Williams, a brand strategist, executive function life coach, and former elite athlete who helps high achievers build powerful personal brands and elevate their impact. JB, welcome to Founders Future.
Man, that was a beautiful intro, brother. Man, for everything he was worth. Man, thanks for having me.
Anytime. I'm excited to dive in. I always like to start from the beginning, in a sense. So take me back on a little trip down memory lane to before you started coaching in the first place, before you started what you're doing now.
Right.
What were you doing beforehand, and then what really motivated you to get into this industry?
Man, so I spent the majority of my professional career in corporate wellness. So I was mainly working with Fortune 500 companies with their HR departments, help building out different things for fitness and kind of like performance-based programs. So you think about things from group exercise all the way to health planning. A lot of these professionals ignore their health. What really motivated me within that field specifically, coupled with my athletic background, was the fact that there were many voids in awareness. A lot of people just, you give them their marching orders, you tell them what to do, they do it. But it's almost like they don't really pay attention to what's going on from a preliminary perspective. And I knew that as an athlete when it came to performance. I knew that in the fitness and wellness realm, when it came to diagnosing like health matters, if you will, and trying to prescribe different plans in that way. And then when it came to just positioning as a professional, especially with having those types of backgrounds and being in those circles, I knew that there was a void with people feeling, okay, if I have amazing people skills, I don't need to show up from a performance standard or from a metric standard or have certain credentials and vice versa. I can have a bunch of credentials and have horrible EQ, or I can just show up however I feel like it because I'm a doctor
Yeah,
or
yeah.
I'm vice president or my dad owns a company or just whatever, etc. So I knew that when it came to personal branding, it wasn't just about what you post on social media. It wasn't just about the clothes that you wear, but how you really organize your life and how you're intentional about the things that you do. So that's what kind of motivated me to be in this space and was my driving force for it because I wanted people just to be more aware of what they do and how they show up.
I like that a lot. I like that a lot. So you're saying personal branding is not just the things that you're posting in terms of your physical outward appearance, but it's also how you show up day to day in your life when the cameras aren't on. Is
Right.
that fair to say?
Exactly. Absolutely.
I love that. Let's dive into today what your offers look like. That way we can give the listeners a little bit more context. Start me off with, who would you say is your ideal customer? Who do you love to work with?
I love to work with people who are intrinsically motivated. That's been a big thing of mine. You meet people who have the desire for the external goal, but if you don't really have that inner ambition or that drive, and you need a lot of management, right? You need a lot of hand holding, then there's only so much from a coaching perspective that I'll be able to do for you because, as you just alluded to, this thing and this end goal is really going to be based on what you do when I'm not around or when nobody's watching.
Yeah.
So I can give you blueprints, I can give you templates, I can give you techniques, I can give you strategies to deploy. But if you don't really feel that inside of you to really want it for yourself, then it doesn't really matter what objectives you're handed if you don't have it, if you don't have that burning desire to really make that change. So a lot of people just want to skip past the work and just get to it, get to the result, and it doesn't work that way. So my ideal client is somebody who actually wants it and just really needs to know what to do versus the other way around, who
Yeah,
they don't really want it. They just want the result of it, the end thing,
yeah,
the makeup.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm super curious. First off, would you add anything to that in terms of demographics of you work with people in this industry or that industry, or is
Mhm.
it varied across the board?
So I've worked with clients in multiple industries. I tend to mainly work with clients who have come from either some type of high performance background from an education perspective. So maybe they were engineers, they are engineers or former engineers, or they're in leadership in some capacity. And also to a lot of business owners, a lot of startup business owners, because a lot of startup business owners, they have that drive to get out there, hit the ground running. They want to make a bunch of money, and they're doing things like, as I just discussed, posting a bunch of stuff on social media, but they're trying to be trendy. They're not really showing up as themselves. And
Mm,
maybe they are showing up as themselves, but it doesn't really align with the brand. So their
yeah,
brand messaging is skewed and off in that way. And then you get into things like work-life balance and executive functioning just in your everyday life affects your monetary goals or your business goals, your finances, your family, all of those things too. So there's a lot of different kind of topics that we hit on, but demographic wise, mainly those high achievers, those people who are in those executive spaces, and then, of course, I've worked with a ton of former athletes who are used to just being told what to do, and now they're trying to figure out how to do it for themselves. So I definitely
yeah,
understand that.
100%. Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that. One thing before we get into the offers and what it actually looks like to work with you, I'm
Mhm.
curious your perspective on this. You mentioned you like to work with people that are intrinsically motivated.
Yes.
Do you believe that someone can cultivate that intrinsic motivation, or is it something that they're born with? And if you believe that they can, what are some things that you would suggest they look into in terms of cultivating that intrinsic motivation?
I would say yes. You have people who are born with it. You have people who just showed up to the world with that and they just hit the ground running, right?
Mm,
But most people don't, or most people have it for certain things and don't know really how to really make that transition and turn that corner when it comes to the things that are foreign to them that they want for themselves. So I start with clients who are on the fence, if you will. I start with a lot of assessment. So I have them do a lot of personal assessment, those things that might feel taboo, like strength finder test and journaling exercises and things like that, just to really get their true thoughts out on paper and then have them take those different types of assessments and quizzes. You have things like Clifton Strength Finder, things that are more accredited. You have things that are more so broad, Carl Jung and maybe like the Enneagram, things like that. But they can give you almost like a starting point to where you don't have to necessarily respect it as 100% truth, but there's a reason why you got that result. So my objective in the beginning is to get them curious about where their natural habits are. And then from there, we explore how that aligns with how they are actually showing up in that moment. And then we create SMART goals around that just to help them become more motivated, if you will, to continue to take steps. And
mm,
then from my experience, the more someone can do on a micro level to keep them going from a short-term perspective, the more successful they'll be long term. And then that turns into that intrinsic motivation to keep going if they didn't start with it.
yeah, I like
Yeah.
that. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. What does it actually look like to work with you? So walk me through your core offering.
Yeah. So to work with me, we start off with a consultation. The consultation, I like to host the consultations as conversations. So I try to keep the questions very minimal on my end. We tend to have a back and forth conversation just about what it is they want. I want them to walk me through their vision, what success looks like to them, what are their end goals, no matter how big. And then I like to know what they are already doing. Because the worst thing you can do is tell somebody to do a bunch of stuff that they're already doing. Then they're like, oh, this is a waste of time. What the hell? And then There's another element to it also that is some people have never really answered those things or said those things out loud, not
Yes.
just to other people, but to themselves. They've just been spinning their wheels. They've been watching YouTube videos all the time. They've been trying stuff or paying people to try to figure it out for them on Fiverr or having a family member or close friend help them out. But a lot of people have never really sat in that space and just had somebody listen to what it is that they truly want and how they're going to do it. And you'd be surprised how many people get stuck in that explanation for themselves. And it's no judgment because a lot of us have been there where we think we're doing a lot or we think we're doing the right thing. And then come to find out, it's, oh shit, I only have two things to say about this big thing that I want. And then from there, we get into what the process actually looks like. So, what working with me actually looks like over the course of the first 6 weeks. And then after that first 6 weeks, if we continue on to a 12-week program, what that looks like. And then if we maximize it and stretch it all the way out to 6 months, which is my max offer of working with them one on a weekly basis, then we'll go through what that looks like from a weekly check-in perspective, from our Zoom calls all the way through what their homework looks like, what their assignments look like. So it'll almost feel like you're back in school, but like the school of you, because
Yeah.
it's about personal branding and personal building at that point. So it's not a bunch of stuff I want you to do and it's going to benefit me somehow. It's about a bunch of stuff that I'm giving you to do to help really explore yourself and then fill in those gaps for yourself. And I'm your coach pushing you in the positive direction, not from a motivation, hoorah perspective, but just like, hey, like these are the things inside of you. And I didn't put them inside of you. I'm helping you to unlock them for you. And then
Mm,
once we unlock different things, almost like you play a video game, right? Like you unlock different traits, and then now we're going to use them. And here's how we're going to use them. And then next week, we're going to unlock these things and use them this way. And then we just keep moving down that trail, man. And it's good. Most people get what they need in about 6 weeks. And I love that. Some people need a little bit longer, but my goal is to never work with a client for more than 6 months. After 6 months, it's okay. You can take a break. You need
yeah.
to take a break and figure it out, man. Because at this point,
100%.
maybe you're just checking off boxes, or you're not really doing what you're saying you're doing
Yeah.
when we're not together. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I think that accountability in terms of the one-on-ones on a weekly basis is huge.
Yo,
So,
yeah.
so critical. When it comes to, let's shift a little bit to the back end of the business, because I have a lot of coaches and consultants that listen to this. And something we always talk about is customer acquisition.
Right.
I think that can be a challenge for a lot of coaches. When it comes to lead generation, when it comes to you bringing on more clients, what are you doing from a marketing and lead gen standpoint?
Oh man, that's actually a great question. That looks different for a lot of people, especially based on the budget. Just being very transparent, a lot of ads can be run if you have that type of revenue. I've run ads before. It's not my go-to. My go-to for lead acquisition and generation is actually just making it very known what my value is. And how I make that known is by engaging on a daily basis through platforms where my audience hang out. My audience hangs out on LinkedIn and YouTube. And that's a big thing too when it comes to personal branding as it aligns with business. You have to know where your people are. Some people, all of your people are on TikTok. That's fine. So what do you do? Some people, all of your people are on Facebook, inside of Facebook groups and things like that. So from a strategic perspective, for myself, I think the best buy-in, the best way you get people to buy in is to show them that, hey, this is what I add to the table. Here's what I offer, and not from a, hey, click the link below or drop a comment or leave a DM or something like that. It's really just about adding value in what you post, giving those daily tips, leaving something for people to download, just giving it and putting it out there for people to have an experience to say, hey, if this guy is doing this on this level, for free, essentially, what would it be like to work with him and actually get some personalized information? Because I like what he says, I like the words here, I like the text play, and I like the downloads and the videos and everything else. But if I could put my name on that, what does that look like? And then from there, you get a lot of people who actually reach out to me. And I do run campaigns that help for me to reach out to others, and I collect emails, and I have an emailed kind of newsletter thing that happens for people as well. But my lead generation is more natural and organic
Yeah.
than it is paid content or ads or a lot of over call to action, because then for me and my branding, people can feel like, oh, every time this guy posts, he wants us to click a link or buy something or do something for him. And that's not where I'm coming from. That's not my mode of operation at all. So that would be my best practice. And that works well for me. And I've seen it work well for a lot of my clients also.
100%. Yeah, I think that authentic, organic approach is super, super critical. I am curious because you said you've done ads before, they're not your go-to. What was your experience like with ads and why are they not your go-to?
The best way for me to put it is that ads work really well when you have a very dedicated budget to run ads, because ads are not something where you're going to run them once in a while and they work well for you, or you're going to run them every so often. Ads are something that if you're going to do it and do it correctly, it has to be done every day. And you may get a lot of views, a lot of clicks, a lot of website visits, but most of the time when you really look at it, you could have gotten similar results from an organic approach. Now,
Mm.
if you're running ads and you're new, then you're just new. And I don't know how else to put that, right? People see you and it's okay, like, I saw an ad of this guy. I've never seen him before. Okay, I'm gonna need to see that about seven more times
Yeah,
before I care to do anything about it anyway. So you're better off just posting seven times for free and letting them see you seven times that way. Ads really work well for more of your established brands, if you will. So you got like a Tony Robbins or something. People know him all across the world.
yeah,
So if you see his ad, you're like, okay, I know that guy. So I'm going to click on that and see what's going on and see what event he's hosting or when he's coming into town to host one of the big venue workshops or something like that. But if you're new to the market and you don't really have that reach yet, I say really maximize your organic approach, because from my experience, running ads, man, you can easily spend hundreds, thousands of dollars every month for a 3 month campaign, and then you end up with maybe 10 to 15 new clients, and you're sitting here looking at analytics that say you got over 500,000 clicks and 300,000 website visits and everything like that. And it's just, okay, maybe I could have saved that money or
yeah,
leveraged that money in another direction, maybe hired some more people from my team to help me with outreach and things like that. So there are a lot of business factors too that
for
go
sure.
into the financial commitment of running ads that I think could be served well elsewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Are you open to my perspective on that?
Go ahead.
And this is coming from a spot like we spend upwards of over 500,000 a month on ads.
Yep.
We've worked with over 4,000 different clients at this point, specifically around the lead gen and the sales process, scaling their companies. And what I've found, really what we suggest is $30 to $50 a day. And if it's not working after 4 or 5, maybe 6 days max, then you shut it off. And the key with making the ads work is really having a clear message and a clear offer of this is the type of person that I want. If you're this type of person, this is what I can help you do. If you're interested, book in a time to speak with me and my team. And a big thing for us is we do something called an application funnel. I'm sure you've
Mhm.
heard of this before.
Oh,
They
yeah.
they click, they go to the landing page, they see a video, they fill out an application. And the key here is having application grading, where we can grade the applications depending on what our ideal client is. And then based off of that, we can see the people that are coming in that are fours or fives, because it's a 1 through 5 scale. Fours or fives are the best. We can have the pixel fire on that page, and then that tells Facebook, hey, we want more of these types of people. And we find that people are getting like 4 to 5x ROAS, return on ad spend, sometimes higher. But I think the problem with newbies running ads is they just don't know what they're doing.
Right.
You don't know what
Right.
you're doing from a copy perspective, from how to actually run and build the funnel, then it's very difficult to make it work. But I think ads are extremely effective. You just need to know what you're doing. I'm curious for you though, when you think over the next, let's say 12 months, 24 months, when you think of your vision and really the targets that you're aiming towards, what specific milestones, goals, like what are you really striving for at the moment?
Man, I would love to host more workshops. That's my focus right now. I would love to host way more virtual workshops. I would love to host in-person workshops where I can, even if I have the ability to travel. I would love to make sure I get out of Texas at least a few times a year to add value to the market in that way and speak to my target demographic in that way in person and meet them where they are. But over the next 12, 24 months, man, I would love to be hosting multiple workshops, 2 to 3 workshops a month. That would be
Nice.
amazing for me just to reach people on that level.
I love that. What do you feel like is the thing stopping you from doing that?
Thing probably stopping me from doing that is really the priority management when it comes to the outreach from my side. I spend so much time in content and trying to add value to the market in that way that it would behoove me to invest a little bit more in either a person or a platform that could help me with outreach and as far as like getting more bookings, researching up more events, things like that. So yeah, man, that's probably the one thing that I could assess that's holding me back, but the biggest thing, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And another reason why I think you should reconsider ads, because it's like you spend 15 minutes a day on them and you can manage the campaign very effectively. But with that being said, what is the best way for people to reach out to you to work with you?
Oh yeah, man. They can reach me. Anybody can reach me anytime via email. I'm pretty good with checking my emails. I'm not somebody who leaves them, yeah, got an inbox with 1,000 emails in there. I think that's insane. But yeah, you can reach out to me anytime via email. You can follow me on my social platforms. Personal page and Sunnyside Consulting are both active. I can say that here. It's my full name actually, so you can't really mess that up, man. Anybody can find me, which is crazy. Instagram, Jonathan Jonathan Bryce, Brice, Williams, Williams. That is my IG handle. You can find me anywhere. My website is my full name, www.jonathanbrycewilliams.com, man. You can't mess it up. So
Awesome.
you can find me anywhere that way, and I'll be happy to talk to you.
Beautiful. And do you want to give out the email?
Yeah, email is actually info@jonathanbrycewilliams.com.
Awesome. Any final words before we wrap up?
Yeah, man. Anybody who's listening to this, whether you are an entrepreneur, whether you are someone who's looking to improve your personal brand, or even if it's something that's not of interest to you, make the best of your days, maximize your moments. Find a book to read, find an audio book to listen to, find some way to empower yourself every day because it matters.
I love that. That's powerful. I like that a lot.
Yes, sir.
Jonathan, thank you, or JB, thank you for your time. I
Yes, sir.
appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
Anytime. So that wraps up another inspiring episode of Founders Future. To our listeners, if you enjoyed this episode, make sure to follow JB on IG and other platforms at Jonathan Bryce Williams. And you can email him info@jonathanbrycewilliams.com. Info@jonathanbrycewilliams.com. And if you are a business owner, specifically a coach, consultant, or an agency owner, and you're really looking to scale your business and you want to enhance your sales and marketing efforts, visit closers.io to hop on a call with our team and discover how we were able to go from zero to $30 million in less than 3 years. Until then, keep on climbing.